The very first thing that we're going to do is take some umber and dilute it and just do a light wash on our oil paper. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is take a little bit of black with that umber, not much, just a tiny bit. And you're going to use this to map out your composition. I'm working on a square format, so you're really going to want to look at the shape of your shoe and make sure that it is accurate before you start putting in the details of it. Really look at the negative shape of your shoe and use the shadow shapes also to help guide. I'm drawing with straight line construction. Sometimes it's easier. Actually, most of the time it's easier if you don't worry about details but really focus on structure, and then later you can create those things. So my house slipper is torn here, and I'm looking at the shape of that opening. I look at the top of the slipper here, and then where the back intersects or comes into that other shape. Then you can put in like the fur, and really looking at the specific shape of the fur, like how my foot has worn it in. And be ready to make adjustments to your drawings. Don't assume that the very first time that you draw this in that it's going to be correct. You want to make those adjustments. Now, the other thing that I want to do here is I definitely want to map the shadow shape on and inside the shape. I'm going to block that in. And you can squint. Really helpful to squint. I should have taped it. And then once you have a basic shape for the shadow, you can always go just a little bit darker because the shadow has variation in it as well. This is not the finished or even close to the finished work, right? So just drawing, not getting too caught up on the details. I'm really tempted to draw more of the house slipper, but instead I'm going to go to the other slipper. Don't be afraid to put the darks in just the way you see them. So in the photo, you actually see a really dark shape here, and the slipper gets lost in that dark shape. So now that I put the deep darks here, then all of a sudden gives me permission, makes it kind of okay for me to move into other areas and put darker values in there. So you'll notice that. It's really nice when you can do that. So then we look at, let me show you the image. So the image here has a Birkenstock and then a clog that goes in that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and map that in. I'm going to use a transparent brown initially to draw with, because then I can easily erase it. This shoe, this Birkenstock, is foreshortened. I'm actually going to end up scooting it over because my paper is a little bit. I probably would end up actually adjusting this Birkenstock because it's kind of a strange connection here between the Birkenstock and the slipper. Like, I think it would be better sitting on top of the slipper. So I might actually end up coming back and doing that or seeing if I can create that here. It's just going to be not so great in the painting. So that's a learning moment there, right? Is that if you find that something is really a little bit funky in the underpainting stage, then for sure it's going to be strange when you paint it or when the painting is complete. So catch those moments early on. For the sake of demo, I took that out. Not a big deal. A drawing problem in your underpainting is a painting problem later. So make sure that you catch that. Or that you really work to try to fix the errors, fix the parts that just feel off. Always remember to put in the background. It will stabilize the composition. Even if you end up drawing through it, it's just better. So here's another place where I want to make an adjustment. So just take some water, wipe that back so that I can draw on top. It's a painting sketch or a painted sketch. Here's another place where I need to make an adjustment. So I'm just cutting away at the form and I'm putting in the shadow shape and stretch this shadow out in the background. So what I would do next, since I'm going to alter this composition, is just situate the shoes again or position the shoes again in this area and maybe give it a stronger light source so that I can capture the shadows in between the shoes. And that should be pretty nice actually. So definitely take clue from your painting, keep looking at them, keep looking at your paintings, keep looking at your compositions from a distance and see what's working. This to me feels better, especially with this other shoe shadow coming here. And definitely then the wall here then is actually a pretty important compositional element in the background. And so we'll want to include that with the baseboard. This is the part that students often get wrong right here, is when the shoe is turning away from you, this sole comes to a point and disappears into the background. So make sure that you catch that if you're having trouble with that. And here as well, this sole turns and goes around the shoe. So that's mostly one of the areas where I'm usually usually help students in class make their adjustments to their drawings. So then the next thing that you want to do as you move into the second layer of your painting is start to really look at the value structure of one shoe to the next. Just another wash of umber. And then that way, when I start painting with the gray scale, then I can have some of that